What's going on, y'all? That game was horrible. Nah, Temple. That game was a total meltdown in the fourth quarter. Got off to a rough start for us. Third quarter they fought back in the third quarter. I give it to them. They made the game in the third quarter, but in the fourth quarter, it was a total meltdown, complete meltdown by the team. Those pick sixes were wild. I've never seen a back-to-back pick sixes in this game like that. We lost by 23 because of that reason. It was a bad, very bad fourth quarter meltdown for the Falcons. They had an opportunity to get back in that football game, and they just fell apart in that fourth. Everything that we've been seeing as an issue with this team showed up in that game. Tom Brady destroyed us with 5 touchdown passes. The offense didn't help them out. They had 3 unfortunate turnovers that turned into 21 points. So you can't win games like that. You cannot win games when you're giving a team like Tampa Bay opportunities. So that was a rough loss. Let me pull up the stat line real quick just to go and give a more of a outlook on this. 1 second, guys. Let me make sure this live on Facebook real quick. I'm sure y'all been commenting already. 1 second. I think I forgot to do that. Let's just start off with my bad. All right, but let me go ahead and pull these, share the screen and pull up the stats real quick. 1 second, let me share the screen real quick. But yeah, this was a rough loss. Let's see. I see some of y'all comments. I'm gonna take a look at it in just a second. Okay. All right, looking at the stat line real quick before I get into it. C-Bane, the great from Twitch, what's up, man? He said, Brady, you are absolutely right. There's nothing you can do about Tom. Tom Brady had a day. Not taking that from him. Tom Brady is Tom Brady. I didn't expect us to win this game. 5 War Deep said, what's going on, bro? Y'all guys, you make sure you follow him on YouTube. He does a lot of great gaming videos, a lot of great Falcon videos. He said the Falcons is blocked. I feel the same way. And Arthur Smith's may not make it 17 games. That's the great thing that you just stated. I'm going to get into that actually on this stream. I will definitely talk about that shortly. But going back to the stat line, as far as the Falcons Buccaneers stat line, Matt Ryan threw for 300 yards. He had 3 interceptions. Those 3 interceptions ended up turning into 21 points for the Buccaneers. As you can see, they scored 20 in the fourth quarter. Tom Brady had 276 yards and 5 touchdown passes, which is a remarkable. Had over 129.2 passer rating. Neither team ran the ball relatively well. Neither team really threw the ball. They threw the ball decent. Nobody really had a dominant performance. Cordell Patterson and Calvin really had a pretty good day for us. Kyle Pitts had a solid first half, and then he had a couple of big catches in the second half. Of course, Mike Evans, Gronk, and Godwin, they had a great day, per usual, as you can see. The Falcons, they forced one. They knocked the turnover over. Excuse me. They got a forced turnover. They didn't really capitalize off of it. But as you can see, the difference in this game was the fact that the Buccaneers had 3 interceptions, and 2 of them were big time touchdowns for the Buccaneers. I just want to kind of pull that plate up from I'm going to pull that interception up. I was actually talking about how one of them was Matt Ryan's fault. I don't see a lot of people saying that, both plays were Matt Ryan's fault. But the first one absolutely was. The second one was the unfortunate moment of the offensive line, being the offensive line. But let me pull this up real quick just to kind of review this play, because this ended up really turning the football game for us in the worst way possible. As you can see on this first, we're going to mute it. As you can see, honestly, Matt Ryan should have sat here. That play right there kind of solidified this football game for the Falcons. As I said, Matt Ryan should have sat there instead of trying to force it. And Mike Edwards did an outstanding job reading that play that turned into the difference in the football game outside of the other interception. As you can see, they were blitzing Matt Ryan up front, but they should have went ahead and took the sack. Now, this play right here was super unfortunate. This is the offensive line getting whooped up front, and Mike Edwards, he might have just solidified himself for NFC Defensive Player of the Week. I don't see anybody else winning Defensive Player of the Week for the NFC outside of Mike Edwards. You had 2 big plays. And as C-Bane, the great benches, number 77, bench him. As you can see, once again, actually on Jake Matthews, but Jalen Mayfield did have a bad day as well. Again, Matt had a lot of tip passes in this football game that just happened to go against him in his favor. But that's the difference of the game right there. And unfortunately, the Falcons are staring at 0-2. They had a rough night tonight. Again, the Falcons showed some glimpses of what this offense could be. But, of course, when you have those unfortunate turnovers, you're not winning a football game like that. C-Man the Great said, very bad day, 2 weeks straight. Yeah, this game that ended up was at some point close in the early portion of the fourth quarter, turned into a complete disaster. The Falcons have a lot of issues on their hands they have to fix. They got a game against the Giants next week. I'm not really sure what to expect, honestly. Let's see. Nelson said that he could have pump fake and rolled out. Those are all his fault. I disagree on that final one because you're not going to do anything when the offensive line is coming at you. And then we're having the same conversation over and over about Matt's not a mobile quarterback. Matt could roll out the pocket, but it's not him. On top of that, you don't really know what you're going to do. We got that kind of pressure in your face. But, that's my take on that interception there. I do agree that second one was totally on him. He just took the sack, kicked the ball away because the defense, although the defense had a bad outing at points, they also got some stops. That game could have been worse than it was. The defense did make some moves in the game to make it a game. So, that's where I feel on that. But where I kind of want to get to, I'm going to go back and bring this comment right here up from a 5-ward Deeks about Arthur Smith may not be able to make it through 17 games. This I actually could see. I could actually see Arthur Smith not being a coach after this season if this does not change. Because you were brought in to be an offensive-minded head coach. And, I honestly feel like he may be over his head right now. Because it took us a while to get going in the game. There were certain play calls. Like, we had a dumb fourth down that we ended up going, like, early in the game. I'm sure you all probably remember there was a 4th down and 2. No, I'm wrong. It was a 4th and 1 where the Falcons are going for – they are 4th and 1 short. They're trailing, and they take the delayed game and they punt the ball away. They end up being a touchdown drive, I believe, for Tampa Bay. And then – the other one, they went for it on 4th down and 2 on a quarterback sneak, which is stupid play calling. It's stupid play calling by any means because you're not going to go for it on 4th and 1, don't go for it on 4th and 2. Those are 2 plays he wish he probably had back. On top of the fact that when you actually did get going, you were playing from behind. Because at the end of the day, although their defense is not a good defense, your defense did enough several times to get you back into the game. And ultimately, one of the most unfortunate moments of the game was we got to stop down 3 and end up having to get the ball at the I want to say we got the ball within the 5-yard line and couldn't even move the ball. We went 3 and out. Bad play calling. It ended up turning into a bad punt that ended up leading to a touchdown that led to the fourth quarter meltdown we saw. It's moments like that you can lose the game on. So when I look at this game right here, I'm not going to just put the game on the defense. Yes, the defense gave up 5 touchdowns to Tom Brady, but the offense didn't help them. They had 21 points off of turnovers. It doesn't matter if it was a Matt Ryan fault, it was offensive lineman fault. They collectively, the offense was at fault for 21 of those points happening in that game. So it's an unfortunate loss for the Falcons. They could not afford to. That was a bad way to lose, plain and simple. Let me go to the comments real quick. Brandon, what's going on, bro? He said, fire him down. Man, he could get fired early if the Falcons don't find a way to win a football game soon. Then that look bad. Pink Pond Princess, what's going on, cousin? How you doing? Y'all follow her if you're on YouTube. She has a very good fishing channel, great content. Make sure you tune into her. She has a lot of great things going on over there. But this was a bad loss. I cannot put it no other way. But I will say this. One thing I did take away from just looking at the overall makeup of this roster, the Falcons got a lot of problems that can't be fixed this season. And it's deeper than the current 53-man roster, current GM, because there's a lot of issues with this team that needs to be changed. I feel like at this point, the Falcons are looking at, I don't think that the organization was ready to say that they needed a rebuild, but one thing that I can tell you that is starting to happen more and more again, every week that I watch this team is that the Matt Ryan era is over. Matt Ryan era is coming to an end. And it's not even so much all on the quarterback at this point. Matt Ryan, to me, has done a solid job. But I'm going to put it to you like this. I was actually having this conversation with someone before I came onto the stream. Ryan has been a solid quarterback in Atlanta for 14 years. The best quarterback we've had, hands down. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care about anything else. Whoever wants to disagree. But when it comes to what happened in this city for the Atlanta Falcons, he has been the best quarterback that we've had on the field. However, Matt Ryan is a quarterback of the past era. And I don't think that you can really build yourself around Matt Ryan going forward. And I hope that Fontenot, Arthur Smith, and that company realizes that this is just not so much, matches this, matches that, matches that, matches that. Matt Ryan no longer fits this league at this point. He's a set pocket passer with a bad offensive line, and the offensive line is not something that you're going to take. It's going to take more than a year to fix. And to me, Matt has been a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to fully be in. He has a lot of solid accolades, but the problem is this. You don't have a Super Bowl ring that could have solidified you into the Hall of Fame. And then at this point, we have not had a winning season since 2017. But at the end of the day, I don't think that he fits the blend of the current NFL. Meaning it's going to be time for him to go ahead and be – it's time to go ahead and say, we appreciate your time in Atlanta. It's time to move on. And that's the unfortunate thing about it for him. I think that this time is up. No, the quarterback is not the number one issue on the team. However, it's time to go ahead and start. You don't want it to become a place where we could watch another 15 weeks of Matt Ryan getting abused week in and week out to the point where it's clear Matt Ryan's not the same quarterback he used to be. I'm not sure if all of you remember the throw earlier in the game. Matt Ryan threw a pass where it struggled to get to Calvin Ridley. And that's the thing that is the unfortunate thing for him. He's definitely lost a step. He's 36 years old. I don't think that he no longer fits the mold of this team. But I'm going to continue on that in a second. Let me get to these comments. Don't want to ignore your comments. Brandon said that Cordell Patterson is a feature weapon. That's an issue. I agree. He's probably the best player on offense right now. That's the most productive player on offense right now. Nothing against Calvin Ridley, but he's been producing. My cousin said, I agree. We need some change this time. Yeah, it's definitely time. I think the writing's on the wall for the Falcon organization that this is time to go ahead and blow this thing up. It's showing, especially these first two games. Y'all say he carried us along with. We can't blend everything for it to make us work. Absolutely. He's a quarterback. He's the mold of a past quarterback that was successful in this league. He doesn't fit the current dual threat mobile quarterback. I'm not even saying to have the Lamar or Kyler or anyone like that. He needs to be able to get out that pocket if the play break down, and he does not know how to do that at this point in his career. Or he gets tense and goes into the typical the pass Matt Ryan where he's staring at a receiver, and that just throws the whole game for us. Let's see. Devon Brown, what's going on, bro? He said if Matt would have won the Super Bowl, he would have been Hall of Fame caliber. I do agree with you on that. I think it would have been a solidified thing at this point for him. But unfortunately, even if so, he is still Hall of Fame level. If Romo can get in, if Romo gets in, he better be in. Romo didn't even get to a Super Bowl. So that's definitely a conversation for another day. Okay, let's go. He said, save this video. Yeah, it definitely be saved. You'll be able to see it. Castro, what's going on, bro? He said, how about those Cowboys with a win? Good win for those guys. They had to pull out a close one against the Chargers. Nelson said, Ryan can't throw a pass over 30 yards. Now he's going to be digging and dunking all season. I agree. I think that throw that you probably know exactly what throw I'm talking about to Calvin Ridley. I want to say it was in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a difficult thing for him to throw. And I haven't seen that a lot in Matt Ryan's career, and I've seen it a lot as of recent. Matt hasn't been able to make certain throws that he once made, and it's just the father time is undefeated. Once you've played 14 years in this league, so to me, it's time to go ahead and move into the next era. So he'll start looking for your heir apparent. It is not this is a jab Matt Ryan thing because I actually personally like Matt Ryan. I just feel that Matt Ryan is at a stage of his career where now you can't no longer be yourself in an offense on an offensive line that's not up to your standard. Because to be honest with you, the one thing that separates a Tom Brady, A-Rod, those guys, they got that extra step where they're great. You don't have a set in stone pocket pass like Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is not able to be Matt Ryan anymore because, one, you need everything that's perfect around you. Meaning you need to have a solid offensive line. You need to have a solid running game. And when one of the two doesn't work, it just blows it for your team. On top of the fact, I personally think that Arthur Smith is over his head. I think he's over his head. And that's the part that sucks more than anything else. I think he's over his head at this point. And I just don't know. I'm not big on saying to fire a coach after one season, but Arthur Smith might have his hands kind of full right now, depending on what the Falcon record is going to be. But just to continue with that, also as far as the defense, we know the issues on defense. I really hope AJ Terrell is healthy for next week. He had a concussion. I will say this. If AJ Terrell doesn't tip that play on the concussion that he received, that's probably a touchdown pass to Antonio Brown, and Tom Brady probably have 6 touchdown passes this game. But it's unfortunate because, you know, he was going out to make a play for his team. He got hurt in the process. It sucked for him. You know, he is actually our best player in the secondary. Grady, I didn't see Grady towards the end for most of the game. I'm not sure if he got hurt. If he got hurt, you let me know. I cannot actually remember. But the Falcons have a lot of holes on this team that cannot be fixed in 15 games. They cannot be fixed in 15 games, and the Falcons are in a rough spot. You're talent deficient, and you have all these things that you need to fix, but you hadn't really addressed them. So now you're starting to see the issues were deeper than even the previous era, even deeper than the Dan Quinn and the Thomas Dimitroff and those things. So, guys, hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Let me get like a 30-second break. I'll be right back, guys. Gotcha. I'm back, everyone. Okay, so just to continue what I was talking about, we have a lot of talent deficiencies on this football team, and nothing against Kyle Pitts, nothing against drafting him, but he's a freak of nature on a team that's bad, on a team that needs way more than a tight end. He probably would have went lower in the draft if it was not for that, because the Falcons have a lot of issues. And see, Tevin Rackham actually is talking about that. He said all these holes on the team, we drafted a tight end at 4. It's unfortunate because he's a really good talent. He's a really good talent, but the Falcons have so many issues. They could have used a Micah Parsons or a Penny Sewell or Justin Fields or Trey Lance. Well, Trey Lance was gone. You could have used a Justin Fields or somebody like that rather than you putting your money onto a tight end. Which, again, I'm not taking a jab at Kyle Pitts. I like Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts actually had a ridiculous catch in this game that Matt Conner threw the ball behind him. He made a crazy catch. I think Kyle Pitts has a bright future in this league. The unfortunate part is you got 2 key pieces with Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley. However, the Falcons are in a spot where you got a lot of these. Even with Cordero Patterson having the day that he had, Matt Ryan is an issue. Matt Ryan is the issue. Mike Davis and Cordero Patterson is another thing that the Falcons are just working. The Falcons are working with a lot of, how I want to put this. The Falcons are working with a lot of things that isn't going to fit this team long term. Like, you don't have your running back of the future. You don't have your quarterback of the future. Ridley's your number one receiver. Pitts is your number one tight end. But you don't have this is my number 2 guy for the future. This guy of the future. Jake Matthews, honestly, he's an average left tackle. They need to trade him after the season. He's only taking up cap space, plain and simple. He need to go. Jalen Mayfield is not ready for the job. The unfortunate part is the Falcons have not really done a good job addressing that. I think the only position on the offensive line right now that I am truly, truly impressed with is Chris Lindstrom. He may be our guy of the future. McGrary was a wasted first-round pick. Matt Hennessy's not ready. Jalen Mayfield's not ready. Jake Matthews need to go off the team. He's a big amount of money. I think the Falcons are going to get to a position where it's going to get tough because you got certain pieces that can go to the future. You got certain pieces that are built for the future, but they have a lot of issues. They have a lot of problems on their hands that is deeper than just this season. It's hard. And I hate that the Falcons are in this spot, but the Falcons have to figure out a way to go ahead and move on from this era. This era is over. Plain and simple, this era is over. I hate that the Falcons are kind of in this spot. I did not have us winning this football game, as I said in my preview stream, but to compete like that and then to fall apart in the fourth quarter was unfortunate. I hate that for the Falcons. The Falcons have to rebound against the New York Giants next week because you got the Washington football team coming in here in 2 weeks. You still got some tougher games down the stretch. You got a couple of solid wins you got a couple of solid teams that's going to come down the stretch. You still haven't seen Buffalo. You still haven't seen what New Orleans is going to be. San Francisco's undefeated. Those are some of the teams I'm naming off that actually got off to a good start this year. And the Falcons have yet to see any of them. I mean, the Eagles and the Bucs were 2 tough opponents early on for the Falcons, but they just have a lot of issues. This is just a issue that's going to be deep into the season. I don't really know what to expect going forward. I'm not going to lie to you. I wish this team could go ahead and start rebuilding now. And I want to see how it's going to play out as the season goes on. Because as of this moment, the Falcons don't really have a lot of things that you can truly say, hey, this is good for the future. This is good for the future. This is good for the future. They got a lot of issues, but I want to put it like this. This is not just a Matt Ryan issue, and I wish this fan base would stop making it just a Matt Ryan issue. This is bigger than number 2. This is a team that I don't care if you put another quarterback, if you put a lot of you guys. I'm going to go ahead and address this on air because it's been talked about since he got cut from New England. Cam Newton's not going to be a Falcon. Cam Newton's not going to help the Atlanta Falcons. So let's dead that. Let's just leave that conversation alone where it's at. There's nothing he's going to do to make this team better right now. This team needs to be totally dismantled and rebuilt from the beginning. Pick you a couple guys you're going to work with for your future, then go from there. This team is not a next season we're in the Super Bowl fix. They're not there. Tom Brady came into a team that was already trending up, and then, of course, when you got Tom Brady on the team, you're going to go down there with Tampa Bay, you're going to make it happen. Went down there, got them a Super Bowl squad together, they won a Super Bowl. Nothing against it. Carolina's also in this division. Carolina's been doing it the smart way. They've been rebuilding their team. When they saw that Super Bowl run with Cam Newton and that group was over, they went ahead and started rebuilding. New Orleans, although Drew Brees is gone, they still got talent. They still been competitive in this division. They actually won they had won the last 3 division titles before Tampa. No, actually, they won the division last year. Excuse me. I'm sitting here thinking they didn't win the division because they lost to them in the playoffs. But the biggest thing is the Falcons have a lot of things that the Falcons have to accept that they are needing to rebuild this football team. That's what they really need to accept. It's not even one of those things where, as a fan, I'm upset with it no more. I think the only thing I'm upset about is don't waste your time trying to convince this fan base, hey, we are further than we are, because I'll put it like this. We're not closer to the playoffs than we are. We're not closer to being a contender then we are closer to being one of the worst teams in the league. And it's no disrespect to the guys on the squad right now, but that is the God honest truth. This team was 4-12 last year for a reason. Even with the coaching changes, even with the blown leagues, they were 4-12 for a reason. So Falcons got a lot of issues on their hands. Again, this was a tough loss for them. They lost 48-25. They're going to be 0-2. They got the Giants on the road next week, and they come back to Atlanta to play the the Washington football team. But until then, this is All In with Nate. Y'all have a good one. We're going to get back on here and talk some time this week. If you got some ideas you want me to talk about on this air, you let me know. I'll be more than happy to do it. But until then, this is All In with Nate. Falcons lost 48-25, and hopefully next week will be a better situation for the Falcons. Y'all have a good one.